You know, my dear nerd, there's absolutely nothing on this planet more important that you should do than installing muOS Banana right now. I don't care if your wife is having your kid right now. I don't care if you're gonna lose your job, and I certainly do. Well, I care about all of those things actually. Then you can postpone installing muOS Banana. But the thing is that it's my quote unquote, sadly enough, unpaid job to keep you informed with this and to tell you that muOS has released such a freaking awesome update, and we simply need to talk about it. It's quite frankly, well, I'm not gonna say monumental because monumental is such a strong word, but this update brought so much polish and so much back-end work to muOS that it simply, in my opinion at least, has no competition. And more importantly, it's now compatible with the 40XX line of devices. So you can install it on your RG40XXH and on your RG40XXV. These names. Anbernic, you are sucking the life force out of us with these names. And the most, how should I put this? The most worthwhile thing that I would want you to get out of this video is that muOS is absolutely perfect for the RG40XXH. Of course, it's good for the V as well, but I ran out of SD cards and I could only install it on the H. I know, right? You would think I had more SD cards, but I actually ran out. What can one do? As always, if you don't have the patience to sit through the whole video, although I wish you would, here are the main cliff notes of what I'm gonna talk with you fine nerds throughout this entire thing. And actually this is a very good segue because I want to mention that this beautiful gray RG40XXH was provided to me by the nice guys at Go Game Geek. And in case you don't know of Go Game Geek yet, you really should, because it's one of the very few reputable handheld retro emulation handheld stores that we have. And that's saying quite a lot, my dear nerds, because nobody wants to receive a freaking light bulb instead of their handheld. And with sites that actually have credibility, you can't go wrong with this. This is not a sponsored video in any way, no money exchanged hands. My words here are my own, but if you don't have an RG40XXH, I truly think that along with this release of muOS, this is the perfect time to get one of these bad boys. And for those who are interested in this, I'm gonna leave both the H and the V in my video description, and there's a nice Vlad Nerd coupon there from which you can get 12% off. And now back to our video. So as Russ would say, sit back, relax, grab your favorite carb-based snack and drink, and embark with me, my dear nerd, on this quest of figuring out how the RG40XX devices actually behave with muOS Banana. And we'll also, of course, talk about muOS Banana as a whole, because that's the point of the video. But spoiler alert, you should update it everywhere on each and every device that you have in this family of Anbernic devices. I want to talk about the main things that I care about with this version of muOS and what basically matters to me, and I truly think would matter to you as well. You might know, if you watched me for a while, I've been begging, pleading, asking, begging again for the people at muOS to actually implement some sort of OTA update system. They broke my heart a bit because we still don't have that, but we are getting close. Dave did a lot of backend changes with Banana, because that's what this version is called, muOS Banana. I tried to draw a banana here, I kind of failed at it. They allow you now to move a lot of things that you don't want to lose when you update onto the second SD card, in case you have a dual card setup. Just as a reminder, on basically all Linux Anbernic devices, you have 2 card slots. The most clean and safe approach is to install your operating system, aka muOS, on the first one, and your games and BIOS files to be on the second one. But now muOS, when you have 2 SD cards, can move everything that is essential, which you don't want to lose between updates, like save states, configurations, all that good stuff, including your BIOS files and games, to the second SD card. So you can conceivably have multiple Anbernic Linux devices, and you only have one card with the operating system in them, and then you just swap your game card from one to another, and it will work. I truly love this idea because it gives me a sort of resemblance of how we used to mess around with cartridges and how cartridges used to kill our sanity, basically. Russ already covered this feature. I highly advise you, after you watch my video, to go watch his as well. I'm gonna put it in my video description. So yeah, for the full picture, I'm kind of basing this video on Russ's video as well, because I'm a lazy bastard. And as a nerd, I want you to get the most valuable information out there, even if it's not my own. But first, don't click away. Russ won't go anywhere, even though Nintendo would want him to go somewhere. He will still be there after I finish this video, so watch it until the end. Subscribe in the meantime. You see, you have a special note here, subscribe. And then remember to have a piece of cake. I suppose that you know that the cardinal snapping fix in the sticks was fixed with this release, meaning that in certain games, the sticks would basically snap to an 8-direction axis, and you wouldn't have that full spectrum that you would have with a joystick. And this is thankfully fixed by Gamma, which is the dude behind Gamma OS. The muOS guys implemented this fix. I truly appreciate that these developers help each other out from one custom firmware to another. Then, as I said, there's support for the 40XX line, aka these two bastards right here. And I assume we will have support for the blasted RG Cube XX soon. I still don't understand the point of that handheld, but I'm gonna review it anyway for you fine nerds. I assume it will be perfect for Pico 8, because unlike Android, we have Pico 8 support on Linux handhelds, but I digress. That rant is for another video. When it comes to usability, so far it's only been talk. We are done with this part. What truly made me fall in love with this iteration of muOS is the fact that it's all around faster. Look, I have the crappy, no-name black SD card that actually I had lying around, and I used it to flash muOS on it, and I used that for the operating system. And even in that godforsaken no-name card, this muOS install simply flies. There's no other word for it. It flies faster than Nintendo should fly out of relevancy. Actually, I shouldn't say that, Nintendo, I'm joking, develop a sense of humor, okay? If you want people to love you in this particular niche, you also need to be a bit more laid back, to have just a tiny bit of sense of humor. You know, like when you joked and you made Switch emulation obsolete. We love you for that humor. You're awesome. I'm joking, Nintendo, calm down. Everybody loves you. Don't copy strike me. Everybody loves you. Seriously, don't copy strike me. I'm a small YouTuber, okay? I'm just playing around. Anyway, I just want to say that this thing... no, I'm in the wrong folder. This thing absolutely flies. It's so freaking fast. It feels just amazing to browse around and to be in this freaking interface. And when it comes to the interface, you might have noticed we have a totally different theme. Yellow has always been muOS's kind of main colorway. Personally, I love this theme quite a lot. It's a very nice theme. But aside from all of the cute surface level UI things, I truly think that this time we actually have the groundwork for OTA updates. They moved all of the non-essential things in a separate manner from the core functions of the OS. Similarly to how you can move everything onto the second SD card, they did some refactoring in the background where technically updating via OTA in the future, because we don't have that yet, it should technically be a more streamlined process to do an OTA update. All updates before this were a very manual process, so to speak, and I am banking on the fact that in the next version of muOS, developers, please take note of this. I've been pleading with you, and so did the community, for, I don't know, at least half a year now since I reviewed the first version of muOS that I got my hands on. So for the love of the Nordic gods, or more rather the southern gods, because you guys are from down under in Australia, please, pretty please, for the love of kangaroos and everything else that we should care about, make OTA a thing. But hope dies last, my dear nerds. And here I am hoping that OTA support will eventually come and my heart will not be broken anymore. What to improve though? There's a thing in muOS which I found myself always doing when I install a new version, and I've said this in my last video as well, but I'm gonna say it again because the default settings won't enable you to have that fake hibernate functionality that OnionOS has, and which everybody loves on OnionOS. I truly think that what made OnionOS so freaking popular was the fact that you could simply turn off the device, do your thing, and when you would turn it back on, it would automatically boot right where you left off in the game in which you were playing last time. And you can have that in muOS as well, but you need to do a couple of settings for this. First, we need to go in configuration, and we need to go in general, and you need to have, let me zoom in a bit, you need to have a device startup set to resume game, and you need to have, where the heck is the other setting? You need to go in power settings and go to sleep function and set sleep, then a specific time frame, and then shut down. What this actually does is, if you put it in standby, after 2 minutes it shuts down, but this is only part of the thing. When it boots up, it normally wants to boot up where you set it that you wanted it to boot up, right here. So you have multiple options. If you set it to history, then it will literally boot in the list of your recently played games, which is also quite nice. Or it can boot in your last game, but it wouldn't do anything with it. Or you can set it to resume game, which is what we want. And after you do this, you need to go to applications, to RetroArch. Here we quickly navigate to settings, then we go to saving, and then what you want here is to toggle these two things on, the auto save state and auto load state. Let me actually demonstrate this. Now whenever you would go in a specific game, let's choose Blood Omen, because I simply have to promote the Legacy of Kain games in hope that you fine nerds play them until I basically fail with this channel, or until, I don't know, Nintendo wipes us all out. I'm joking, Nintendo, relax, it's all good. I'm not nervous or anxious about what you could do. Again, I'm a small YouTuber. Please don't copyright strike. It's important for you to show that you have a sense of humor. You not monsters, you. So, whenever you would enter a game, it would now boot up where you left off. And if I were to put it in standby and then I would go and do some adult stuff, like I would go pay taxes and think of how subjectively fast time passes, and before we blink we'll be old people, while we take some moments to spiral in that existential crisis and to think that everything that we care about eventually will be just carbon atoms, and then we realize that everything is meaningless, and no matter what we do, we can simply embrace the anarchy of meaninglessness, because in a billion years nobody will even know, there will be no resemblance of our footprint on this planet whatsoever, which will show that we even existed. So when you're done contemplating with all of that, let's say that it was turned off, you would just turn it back on and it would go back in your game, and you could then go like, la la la, I'm doing my thing. Oh my god, Kain is so awesome, it's the beginning of his story and I'm having so much fun here. And yeah, I think that this setting for auto load state and auto resume state, this should be a default in muOS. A lot of people would appreciate having that option over there. So just as a quick cutaway, remember everything that I showed you and I'm about to continue to show you about muOS doesn't only apply to DH. I know this one is getting all of my love in this video, but this very well applies to this bad boy as well. So don't forget that everything muOS related over here, you can also do here. And now on to the arguably sad part of the video. There has to be a part where I talk to you about the drawbacks of this OS. You know, the potential still present bugs that might annoy the living poop out of some of you, or might actually be deal breakers to quite a bunch of you fine nerds. And I know a lot of you have been complaining about some of this stuff because it's still ongoing since the previous release. So back to my little chalkboard over here. As you might have expected, there's quite a bit of heartbreaks here. One is that we still don't have Bluetooth, and it's important for me to tell you that I personally don't really care about this. I thought I would care. You see, I had this fantasy of just taking this handheld, plugging it into my TV, because I bought a mini HDMI cable especially for these Anbernic devices, and then I would take an external controller that would communicate via Bluetooth and I would play from the couch. But the fun thing is that I never actually did that, and I don't see myself doing that because most of the time you don't engage in a very niche scenario in a very niche handheld. That's like a niche within a niche. So we would love to do this. In my opinion, you can contradict me if you think I'm wrong, but I think the thought of being able to do this is actually way more attractive than actually doing this. But the good part is that this makes your choice easier because, like most things in life, you can't do this. Just as you can't go on a yacht and drink cocktails with Jennifer Aniston, you also can't play on this handheld or this or any other handheld with muOS via a Bluetooth controller. The other sad part, and I feel like this is my biggest gripe for me personally, is that there's no OTA yet. Even though I think that OTA is sort of, kind of, maybe, here's hoping, kind of high priority for the muOS devs. I'm a patient nerd, you know, I'm willing to sit another couple of releases before I really, and this is not out of bad will or anything, but eventually I will lose hope and I will lose any internal energy or drive to update all of my handhelds that I have on muOS. In fact, wait a second, I need to make a point with this. Not to turn this video into a shameless ad for muOS or anything, but this is how much I'm willing to put my mouth where my money is. Is this the sentence? I think I'm putting my mouth where my money is. Yeah, I think this is the sentence. I am gonna walk the walk and talk the talk, okay? After this video is over, I'm not gonna only flash muOS on the vertical one and wipe out whatever I have in this card as well, but I'm gonna do the same with my black 40XXH, with my black RG28XXH, and with my Flippy Boy as well. You know what this is, I don't need to make an introduction for this, it's literally the most famous Anbernic Linux handheld. And I'm also gonna install Banana onto my prized treasure and one of my most favorite Anbernic devices, the RG35XXH, which for more than half of the lifetime of the channel, this was, and quite frankly in a way still is, but now the 40XXH is kind of my favorite because my eyesight is going to heck. This was my absolute favorite for a very long time when it comes to Anbernic handhelds. And all of these mother flippers will have muOS Banana installed on them because that's how much I think this custom firmware in particular offers the best experience of what we have now. But again, this video should be more or less kind of linked to Russ's video and I advise you to watch his tutorial on how to properly conquer muOS in a fresh new install, especially if you want to go the whole 9 yards and do a more or less permanent setup. But anyway, YouTube magic. And last but not least, and take this as sort of a joke, which isn't really a joke, they didn't decide to name their next version of muOS Mullet. They actually cast a vote in the Discord for how the next version of muOS should be named, and Pixie won over Mullet, if you can believe it. Even though this one is awesome, Pixie just makes me think of pixies, of Peter Pan's little fly-like friend which had wings and blah blah blah. Whereas Mullet is cool. Mullet makes me think of 80s rock, okay? Mullet makes me think of the time when rock bands were actually awesome. But anyway, my dear nerd, this is more or less what I wanted to highlight with muOS. I think that this custom firmware right now, while not perfect, is one of the most close to perfection. Damn foam things, they don't want to sit on the wall. Close to perfection custom firmwares that we have right now. Of course, we should wait them to improve in the next version. OTA updates, muOS developers, pretty please. And I know for a fact that Anbernic released a new UI in their stock firmware, but I shall not be, how should I put this? I shall not be impressed by small, pretty UI changes and blah blah blah. In terms of functionality, muOS is just the perfect balance of fast and functional. But yeah, I'm hearing the words that come out of my mouth. It just appears like it's a freaking ad for muOS, like muOS is sort of a government and they have me on their payroll. They're just a couple of guys, you know, a few guys with an awesome project, which I happen to really like because their work is solid. Their work is actually nice. So yeah, in case I don't get this video copyright struck from my edgy jokes from the company that I pray has a sense of humor, then I hope you enjoyed this video, my dear nerd. If you like this kinds of videos, even though I admit I could have made it way more of a how-to kind of guide, but I feel like you need a reason to want to install custom firmware first. So my approach was to show you why I love it. If I show you why I love it, then you can decide if you love it as well. But the fact of the matter is that now at least you have the information that I have, which makes me stir my own ship in this direction. Don't leave yet, do me this favor and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, god damn it, man, you watched 20 minutes of me babbling. Be a trooper, be a nerd that's on my side, you know, we should be like this. And also, if you want to help me make more videos and to support me more directly, there's links in my video description. You can become a channel member or a Patreon, and whichever you would choose, you would end up on my wall of fame, which I show in each and every video, as a token of my gratitude, as a way of me to say thanks, because I appreciate the support that you show me. And also, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I also have a Discord that's the absolutely perfect place where we can talk about things in person. But anyway, this is all from me. It's been a pleasure ranting to you at exactly 3 AM on the dot. So yeah, I'm gonna edit it, I guess. It's Friday night. Some people have lives, they go out clubbing, having fun, having romantic dates. I edit for you fine nerds, because you are my romantic date on a Friday. Oh god, this sounded depressing. But it might sound depressing to you. To me it sounds wholesome. You know, I love you. So, nerd kisses, and see you in the next video. Bye.